Hey everybody, it's Emily from ARG Schooling, and I'm going to do my July wrap-up. I forgot what month it was. I'm going to do my July reading wrap-up. So this is probably the worst reading month I've had in like years. Definitely years. I only read like 2 whole books this month, which I have been crazy busy getting grade 9 done, and that is like where all of my time and energy have gone this month. And it's making me a little bit sad because I miss reading so much, because I usually read many books in a month, and this time I did not. But that's okay, because grade 9 was super important to get done, and it's almost finished, and I'm super excited about that. So we're just gonna talk about the book I read this month, and that was The Magician's Land. This is like one of the only novels I read this month. And I already did a full review on the entire Magician's series. If you would like to know more about that, I'll link that above. And I really loved it. This was a great ending to the series. I highly recommend it. It's awesome. I gave it 4.5 stars. The only other book I finished this month, I don't actually have to show you. And that was The Sleeper and the Spindle, which I got at the library. That is by Neil Gaiman, and it is a picture book, kind of. It's like a fairy tale-ish story, and it was a really nicely done book. It wasn't anything fantastic. It was just nice. It was a fairy tale based sort of on Snow White, but also on Sleeping Beauty. It was sort of like a mashup of the two. And it was interesting, and it had lovely drawings, which was the highlight of the book for me. The illustrations were gorgeous, and I would highly recommend you buy it just for that. It was a good story. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's good stuff. I am halfway through The Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I started this at the beginning of the month, and I'm loving this reread. I love seeing how the story is building. And this book was like my favorite in the series because so many things happen. Like the first 2 books build up to this book, and then the last 2 books are like what happens after this book. Like this book is like the catalyst for the rest of the series almost. And it's really interesting in rereading, seeing all these little chess pieces that have been put in place and how I should have seen all these things happening. Like some of the stuff that, like just like the Red Wedding, for example, it was such a shock the first time you read it. After reading it again, you see, like, oh my God, it was so obvious that was going to happen. Like, why didn't I see that coming? Because it's so obvious that was the result of what he did. So it's just, I'm really enjoying the reread. I also DNF'd a book this month. I started The Girls by Emma Cline. I got it at the library. I wish it had come later, but I put my name on the list of holds, and it came in earlier than I was anticipating. And so I didn't really have time to really delve into it as much as I had hoped I would. But honestly, I don't know if that's a book that I would have really enjoyed. I was intrigued by the premise. The idea that this was a book about the Charles Manson murders was really intriguing to me. That's a part of history that I honestly don't know that much about, even though it was fairly recent, but it's always sort of intrigued me as like, why would these girls do that? Like, what possessed these girls to go and do those terrible things? Like, what is it about Charles Manson? Because everything I've ever seen of him is horrifying. Like, there is nothing appealing about Charles Manson. I don't get it. So the idea that this was a book about that, about a girl who gets mixed up in that, I was really excited. But that's not really what the book was about. I only got about halfway, and I have to say that I was just like, I don't care. I found myself really not caring about the characters that much, and I found the story was very bleak. There wasn't really, I mean, it's a story about a girl who gets mixed up in a cult, so it's not going to be a happy, cheerful story. I got that. But it was just so not the time for me to read that book. So I don't know, maybe if I read it another time, I would appreciate it more. The writing was beautiful. It was very well written. I just found that I didn't really care. I couldn't bring myself to care. So I decided that it's not the time. So I DNF'd it, sent it back to the library. what are you gonna do? Maybe I'll try it again another time. And that is it, guys. That is all I read this month. This has been the least amount of books read of any month I think I've had in at least a year, maybe 2 years. So I'm hoping that I get to a lot more books next month. I've got a lot of books I'm really excited to read, and I'm going to have time. I am looking so forward to August because I have nothing to do in August. I'll keep telling kids Dobby will be free. So yeah, I'll be a free elf for a whole month. So I'm really excited to get some reading done in August. So thank you for watching. What did you read in the month of July? I'd love to hear about it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Happy reading. I just lost my train of thought. I'm so tired. What was I going to say? Charles Manson. Yeah. Charles Manson. Yeah.